Glad to be here. Good morning, everybody. I'm Robert Collier. I'm a visiting scholar at the Center for Environmental Public Policy at the University of California at Berkeley. And I'm glad to be here in Copenhagen, where 15,000 people are gathered to talk about climate and to try to figure out a solution for the climate crisis at the UNFCCC negotiations. So in the brief talk that I'm going to give, I will summarize the key points in a report that we have just come out with, titled "Who Owns the Clean Tech Revolution?" The negotiations so far are going nowhere, and worse than going nowhere, they are a train wreck in the making. We have, on the one hand, the G77 countries, the developing nations, led by China, Brazil, Venezuela, Bolivia, and Uganda, who are demanding a number of things that the developed nations, such as the United States, do not want to give. This is not the only train wreck at Copenhagen. There are other issues also that are very tough and that could cause a real breakdown in negotiations, but this is an important one of them. So how can this issue be unpacked and resolved? Well, there's emerging talk on both sides of the divide, on the developed nations, the developing nations side, to focus on cooperation in clean tech R&D. In other words, looking at creating new shared IPR of clean tech rather than looking backward at existing clean technology, intellectual property, and trying to figure out flexible ways of creating new clean technologies in which the IPR would be either open source or somehow some kind of joint public-private arrangements. So there's been a lot of focus on the potential role of, or the potential precedent from the Consultative Group on International Agricultural Research. It is a 15-center R&D organization focused on crop research. They've done a heck of a lot, saved millions and millions of people's lives, been a great success in the green revolution. And so now there's a lot of discussion among both sides of this IPR debate over perhaps creating a CGIER for energy research, which would work on creating open source and flexible IPR clean technologies tailored to the countries that need it most. Focused on orphan technologies. Now, there has not been enough research on exactly what are the needs, the so-called needs assessments that are constantly being done, but none of the needs assessments seem to be any good, or at least sufficient for the whole question of, well, what is really needed, and what is the private sector not already doing? Because one of the challenges is to create activities and programs that do not just overlap and repeat what the world is already doing, thank you very much, and the private sector is doing quite well. And to figure out the value added of any of these programs is a crucial element. Also, there are existing organizations, CGIAR, and India's TERI, the Energy Resources Institute, which is a huge outfit in India. Rajendra Kochari, the director of the UNFCCC, is also the director of TERI. And it's a very, very successful organization, in many ways much like Lawrence Berkeley Lab, that does a lot of cutting-edge work, focused especially on developing nations such as India. So, briefly, that's a sketch of the train wreck that we have in motion now, and one possible way of getting around that train wreck by focusing not on existing IPR owned by private companies who have quite a bit of political power in the United States and Europe, but by looking forward toward potential niches that are not filled in the developing nations, and how we could collaborate internationally between governments, private sector, university and government laboratories to create new clean technologies that are needed most by those who cannot pay for the existing clean technologies.